So time starts when the screen goes fully white. I'll tell you when that happens. And go. So hello, I'm Garish Goblin. I'm from Finland and I play Halo Fast. This is legendary difficulty and I'm playing on PC. And on the couch we have some lovely people. You want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Shattermage. I speedrun Halo on easy.
10-10-220, also on easy.
And I'm Rexy. I'm an easy runner as well.
So the last time this game was run at the GDQ was 3 years ago, in 2014. And that run was by the legendary Goatrope, of course. His time, I believe, was 1 hour and 51 seconds, 1 hour and 51 minutes. And I'm planning to cut his time by hopefully at least 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. Let's see. So this game has had multiple new skips found and just overall better gameplay, more optimized combat.
Do what you do best.
But this level, the first level, the player for them. The main thing I want to get here are plasma grenades, and hopefully I won't die. Okay. It's super easy to die in pretty much every section of the level, and plasma grenades are the main tool of killing enemies here, because plasma grenades in this game are like extremely effective. Basically, they have one-hit kill almost any enemy type, excluding hunters and gold elites. So I want to get as many plasmas as possible, and Halo games always have had like super inconsistent checkpoints. Hopefully I can get this. Okay, there we go. It's like super important to get all these checkpoints, otherwise you can lose like minutes.
Yeah, so we're doing a couple of things here that might not be obvious. In that area that we just passed through, actually, we only wanted to kill about 2 enemies. If we end up killing a bunch more, then we get an extra spawn. Here, as Garish said, we're kind of just placing plasma pistols. Oh, there's a good checkpoint. And this is just kind of predicting AI behavior, getting them to splatter nice there. That's good. This room can go really poorly.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of AI behavior, whatever you get. But it's probably a recurring theme you'll see in this run. In general, if you just do the same thing over and over again, like that, sometimes you'll get through. And that's kind of bringing up an idea of an easy strat, like a safe strat, versus a really hard and risky strat. In this game, generally, the hard and risky strat will end up saving you time in the long run. Just dying a couple times will actually be faster than waiting and doing the safe strat.
So this is a cool mechanic. If these enemies haven't spotted me, they will just stand there and stare at the grenade until they die. It's super useful on this level because killing those guys individually would take so long. And here it's happening again.
Yeah, we call that a distraction grenade.
Yeah.
If they see the grenade before they see you, then they'll just stare at it and die like idiots.
So this next section is dependent on the right dialogue popping up at the right time. It's possible to actually do a skip here with... Yeah, I got the bad dialogue, but that doesn't matter. It's possible to do a little skip here called the maintenance skip. It saves a few seconds. You have to get a checkpoint at a very precise time, but we didn't get it.
This is another area where you'll probably see maybe some bad things happen. Just a ton of enemies packed into a little space, doing a nice little health pack there. But again, doing it risky is still way faster than waiting and doing the safe strat.
He throws a grenade on the ground there to get the elites not to follow him, because the elites will stay away from the grenade after they've spotted you. So just trying to predict how the AI will react to the things you do throughout the run.
Yeah, and personally, I think this run gets a lot more interesting after Pillar of Autumn. The introduction level is pretty linear, and you're just trying to fight your way through a bunch of enemies. But we're almost done with it.
Yep. Not too bad overall. I could have died like so many more times here, but so far only 2 deaths. Hopefully, I'm at 1 bar, 1 red bar of health so far right now. Hopefully, I won't die to these guys. Nope. Yeah, I was literally one shot away from dying, but that's fine.
So for the level to end here, he has to kill all of these enemies.
Just in this little area.
Yeah.
There we
You
go.
could see there was a massive explosion with those
Chief, can you hear
grenades. Because in this game,
Blast.
if there are
You
grenades on
alright?
the ground and there's another grenade that blows up next to them, it just chain reacts, and it can cause like massive explosions. I have lost runs to those explosions. It's just a dumb mechanic, to be honest. But
That'll probably come up
here,
later.
we should explain this.
Yeah, so we're going to do a little grenade jump here to skip a trigger. The game actually really wants you to go over a little bridge that you probably saw on the left side of the screen there. There's a trigger on that bridge that causes a bunch of enemy spawns up here ahead. So by doing this little grenade jump, not only is it more direct of a route, we actually skip a bunch of spawns, which most importantly includes 2 Banshees, the enemy fighter jets that are flying up overhead. And I always like to say that Banshee drivers have no bigger goal in life than to just fly down and crush you.
So yeah, this area is supposed to be filled with enemies, but because I did the nade jump, nobody's here. And the next area is interesting. So there's a thing called drop skip. There are 5 dropships that come down to the area, and you can skip one of them by killing the second one and the third one. The dropships fast enough, and it also requires for you to kill some marines. There are 6 marines, and 5 of the marines have to die for dialogue to get skipped. So I kind of want to wait here just a little for these enemies to engage the marines, because if I kill all of the marines myself, they can turn on me and start killing me, and that's no good. So hopefully these guys kill at least one of the marines for me.
Yeah, the Marines are actually super weak in this game, so the elites can just pick them off for you.
Oh, that was really good. And now I want these guys to die from this nade. Nice. So you can grenade marines in this game, and it actually doesn't count as betraying them, because grenade betrayals are counted
Accidents.
as accidents. The same thing goes with splattering. So I'm gonna be doing that a lot on this level, since I'm gonna kill lots of my friends.
So something that you might not notice coming into this area, a big reason why we have to kill those Marines is actually to skip a bunch of dialogue. Every single one of these ships, we would be having a good 10 to 15 seconds of dialogues while the Marines talk about the enemies that are coming down. And since everything here is on a timer after you kill one ship and the next ship comes down, we wouldn't have enough time to perform the trick that we're trying to do. So remember where this second ship is trying to come down. If we do the trick properly, if we get the drop skip, there's supposed to be a 4th ship that's supposed to come down right there, and we'll just skip that 4th ship completely. But it requires, as we said, skipping the Marine dialogue and also completing all of the ships pretty quickly.
So this next ship there's a very interesting setup for this, and it's not too consistent, so hopefully it works. By the way, you can see me shoot the ships with a pistol, because you can actually get some grunts killed through the very small gap there is.
It's not very good design by the Covenant.
And hopefully that worked. Let's see now. There are 2 elites.
But that should still work.
Yeah, but there's a chance I'm gonna be super late for this next one. Let's see. I think I should be just in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got the skip.
But yeah, we got the
That's good.
skip.
So he actually, he got the skip.
So that's like 20 to 25 seconds saved.
And you can see how I keep jumping. That is because... Oh no.
So we're actually...
Yeah, I didn't have any plasma pistol ammo, and I didn't realize that. Oops. Okay, let's just see what I can do here.
These elites can be super dodgy. And something that you may not know about Halo is that since the elites are shielded, plasma pistols and plasma weapons in general do a lot of damage to shield, but a little bit of damage to health, whereas human weapons, with bullets, physical bullets, do a lot of damage to health and very little damage to shield. So we're using what we like to call a noob combo, or a variant of the noob combo, which is really just overcharging with a plasma pistol and then trying to get headshots with a pistol.
Look, more lifeboats. They're coming in fast.
At this point, we're kind of on a timer, so we have some time to go gather grenades, guns. We're waiting for a human dropship to come down, the Pelican here. And then, like Cortana said, he's going to drop the Warthog and we can drive through. If you played this game and you remember how the level's laid out, you may be thinking, we can just skip through this entire area. There's really no reason why we have to fight the dropships, wait for the Warthog to come down. And that's true. We could actually just go on foot. But the level is so expansive that it's actually a lot faster to drive the Warthog and wait for it.
This cave is not a natural formation.
Everyone's favorite quote.
Someone built it.
So
So it
I always
must
like to talk
mean
about the Warthog, aka the Halo car. It
Packed into
drives
covenant
really
battle.
strange. It handles kind of like you're driving on ice and the tires are coated in Crisco. But we can use that to our advantage. We can actually fling the car around the Halo car. And there's a fun little thing in the physics engine. Bungie decided that they didn't want you to be able to kill yourself or splatter yourself on a vehicle that you had just exited. So right after you get out of a vehicle, you have a brief period of invulnerability from that vehicle. We use that by getting out and turning in such a way that the vehicle actually hits us intentionally and will push us either through things or up things like you're going to see right here. Nice. Yeah, so we just use the vehicle to push ourselves up here and get to the button really fast. And since there are enemies shooting us, the game actually allows us to skip a cutscene that otherwise would have showing this light bridge extending, allowing us to pass the ravine.
So I guess we didn't really explain the goal of this mission. The goal of this mission is to actually save the Marines,
Right.
because we just crash landed and our ship was taken over by the Covenant. But we're not really going to save the Marines. It's actually a lot slower to save the Marines.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about saving the Marines.
There's no traffic on the Covenant.
We could probably read a couple donations until we get out of this structure and see some grass.
Sounds good.
Really gave them hell.
We have $200 from Anonymous saying, Garish, it's Joe Mama Bob. I hope this donation doesn't distract you as much as my Twitch sub did. Also, big shout out to my brother Jackson, who's watching this stream at work. Love you. We have $20 from Maxman Smart saying, what's up, Garish? Love the streams and I'm stoked for the run. Great to see you running at GDQ. Here's to good RNG on Library. Save the frames and kill the Marines.
Yo, thanks, guys.
Which you've been doing a great job of.
That is a great lead up. So we were talking about saving the Marines. This entire area consists of 3 non-linear sections, so you can complete them any order you want. But the trick is, the game really wants you to go in there, rescue the Marines, and get them evac'd. And that involves killing all the Covenant in the area and all the Covenant reinforcements that might show up. Going into here is another Warthog fling, like what we talked about, using the Warthog to hit us and go over the structure, get in here really fast. That was nice.
Search the interior of those structures
So,
before we leave.
going along with saving the Marines, the game developers decided that if you fail the objective, you shouldn't be super punished. So we're just going to come in here and accelerate the failure of the objective.
There we go.
Yeah, okay, so the Marines have been saved. So going along with that, we talked about how there are certain deaths that the game will consider accidental. So since we grenaded all of the Marines, we're not going to have any penalties. There is such a thing as a betrayal counter. So if any Marine sees you kill his buddies,
The interior of those structures
it
before we
activates
leave.
what's called a betrayal counter, or we like to call it. And if such a thing happens again, if you kill another Marine within some timer of that first betrayal, all of the Marines on the entire map will suddenly get mad at you and aggro you.
Yeah, on easy difficulty, it actually doesn't matter if the Marines get mad at you, since, well, they aren't
Survivors
really
detected.
too
Marines
powerful
have been
against
saved in
you.
those
And
rocks.
on easy difficulty, the timer actually runs out before the level even ends, usually, I think. But on Legendary, the timer is like way longer.
Yeah, I've completed Halo while the Marines were still mad at me.
Oh, yeah, yeah. On Legendary, though, you would have to do completely different strats if that happened. And I don't prefer those strats.
So we only killed 1 Marine, so the enemies, or the friendlies, I said enemies, they're only kind of mad at us. You'd probably notice that there were some yellow dots on the minimap in the bottom left corner, and those are the other allies that we're supposed to save. We're just going to go let them do their own thing. Covenant will probably take care of them. So that's 2 out of 3 areas where we have probably failed the objective. But removing these 2 guys from up on top of the rock from the area means that they don't count as still being in the area. so the game will allow us to progress.
Also worth noting, snipers are OP. Like the Marine snipers are OP in this
There's
game.
some Marines hiding
Yeah.
in the hills above the structure.
Yeah, I think the game developers just never programmed them to miss.
I'll call in a dropship to pick them up.
Now we finally actually got to do something productive rather than just press W in the Warthog. And the next level is actually gonna be lots and lots of combat. That's gonna be exciting, hopefully.
Yeah, so we just have to kill all the Covenant in this area,
So we can link up with the rest of the
and a
survivors.
Covenant dropship will come down for reinforcements.
And now it's just the last set of enemies here. You can just kinda throw a few nades. And there we go, everybody's dead.
Great. And if we hear that's the last of them? Perfect. So now the level's just on a timer. We're waiting for our dropship to come down, pick us up,
On the Covenant
evac
battle.
the
I found
survivors.
Captain Keyes. He's being held on a Covenant
Whee.
cruiser. The Truth and Reconciliation.
Oh, and he sticks the landing.
The
We have $5 from Anonymous saying, "Hey Garish, Fallen Ultima here. You said that if I donate $5, you would get world record at SGDQ. Time to see that world record."
Well, we'll see about that, I guess.
There's our ride. Get aboard and let's get out of here.
And now TNR, or Truth and Reconciliation. This is, I would say, this is the hardest level in the game. Like, this has the highest skill gap. It's just so much combat with the sniper rifle. It's just so many difficult sections.
Yeah, this level's really punishing. One slight mess up and the Covenant will get rid of you really quickly.
Yeah.
Once we get inside the ship,
And compared
should
to
be able
Goatropes
lock
run
on
3 years ago,
tracking signal from Captain Keyes' neural implants.
Definitely, I've adapted to some YOLO strats here. For example, the first area, just gonna run straight through this area. There is a way higher chance of dying than taking it a little safe, but yeah, let's hope I don't die here.
This is actually one of the areas where you can't just run through. You'll see a lot of the combat on the last level and on POA. We're just kind of trying to run through, run and gun. Just simply doesn't work here, unfortunately. But we've got some pretty well-placed grenades where we can take advantage of where we know the enemies are going to spawn. And it's really important to kill elites in this. If the lower Covenant see you kill an elite, they'll go into a frenzy and get all scared and run away from you, so they can't do any damage to you. We're kind of working our way around the side of this area, do some quick killing of that elite and clear a path, because we're trying to get a power-up on the ground that's called an active camouflage. And for those of you who remember Halo, it just shields you from people seeing you for some short period of time. It's about 40 seconds?
45
Yeah.
45 seconds.
One technique we forgot to mention is backpack reloading. And I'm going to be using that a lot. I've already been using it a lot, like the entire time. If you guys want to explain that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's probably a glitch, probably classified as a glitch, but essentially if you double tap your reload button and then do anything else to cancel the animation, the reload will continue happening while the weapon's in your backpack. That's why we call it backpack reloading. And you can cancel the animation by switching weapons or by getting into a vehicle. And it's extremely useful, especially in the legendary category, because we just want to keep outputting damage over and over. We don't want to have to wait to reload.
And now this fight is probably the hardest part of the level, so hopefully this goes well.
Yeah. So we kill this, and then that activates the Covenant to start dropping guys down here from the Gravlift, from the ship above. So we call this the Gravlift fight. There are actually 8 waves of enemies, but with a well-placed grenade and sniper shot, you can kind of spawn kill these enemies as they drop down. The next wave, for reference, comes down when there is only one enemy remaining from the wave before.
Just one elite alive. He's trying to run away, but there we go. That was really good.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
very,
that was
very nice.
impressive.
So now we're going to have 2 hunters drop down. It's probably I think it's the first time we see hunters in the game, actually. but they've got this little orange spot on the back that kills them pretty quick, apparently. So yeah, like Cortana's alluding to, now we're just going to use their lift to get up into the ship. For reference, we're trying to get up there because that's where Captain Keyes is being held. Kill this Marine real quick just to skip some dialogue.
So yeah,
You know, because...
this is another wave fight. This fight has a little more random waves than the last one. So I'm actually just gonna let you guys explain this since
Yeah,
I'm gonna be busy.
So there are 10 waves coming out of here. We killed the Marine in the beginning, right, because there's some dialogue that would have held the waves up, so we want to get the ball rolling a little faster. At some point, after like wave 4 or 5, you'll actually see us kill another Marine as well, and I'll explain that in a bit when that happens.
I mean, you can just admit it. It's because you're a monster.
So the first Marine that we killed, actually, none of the Marines saw that betrayal, so it didn't activate what we call the betrayal timer. That second Marine, everybody saw it, and I think they actually called us something for it. But essentially, we're trying to use that betrayal timer later in the level.
You can also get some nice frag grenade drops from that, which is super helpful in this fight.
Nice collision.
Good stuff. It's actually really easy to get overwhelmed in this area because the waves will just keep spawning and keep spawning. If you don't clear them out fast enough, the entire bay will just be flooded with Covenant and you'll never survive. Also, I think you may have noticed, we haven't gotten a checkpoint this entire time. So that's the first checkpoint for the whole fight.
Yeah.
After the fight's done, we do have 2 hunters that come out of here, and it's intended that we fight them, but we're not going to. Apparently there's a little trigger back here that if we just walk past the hunters, this door will open. And that's where we're trying to go. So no need to fight them.
He actually got an early door open there by getting the hunter to charge him, because the Covenant can open red doors that Chief can't.
Which is important right here.
Yeah,
as
that'll
well.
actually come up here. So this is yet another big fight that the game wants us to do. We're not going to do the wave fight.
Oh, God door.
Oh, dude, nice.
So as you can see, the Covenant actually have the ability to open these doors that are locked to us. And since this is the direction we were trying to go, we can just use them to open it.
So there's one of the biggest skips in the game coming up, and for that, I need to gather some plasma grenades.
Yep. Yeah, the big room that's coming up is the hangar, and it's where the fourth and final wave fight is planned for this level. You'll notice we did the first 2, we skipped the third one. We're going to skip the fourth one in a pretty interesting way, actually. What you need to know, there's a power-up on the ground that's called an overshield, and it charges up your shield in such a way that's purely scripted, so you literally can't take any damage while it's charging up. We're going to use that, stack some grenades on the ground, and get them to blow up at pretty much the same time. Getting us all the way up here, do a couple more grenade jumps to get to the top. What the game would have you do is actually fight on the bottom floor, wait for a... Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Very well done. The game actually wants you to fight on the bottom floor, work your way up through the hallways, and it would just take probably 15 minutes. We just did it in about 10 seconds. Yet another room where you have to clear all the enemies. This is not a wave fight. We just have to work our way through here, kill the enemies as fast as possible, while taking, hopefully, very little damage.
You want to be super careful with Jackals in this game. They have probably the highest... Oh no. I ran out of ammo, that's super unfortunate. But yeah, Jackals are super dangerous in this game. They probably have the highest damage per second out of any enemy, other than like Rocket, Flood or whatever. So yeah, now we're just working our way through these hallways to try to get to Captain Keyes where he's being held.
We're clearing out all the enemies in this area just because we're actually going to have to backtrack through this hallway. And the game will spawn more enemies when we come back through the second time, so we don't want these guys to be around.
You could actually see a glitch happen there, where if you stick an enemy and the grenade blows up, the grenade actually doesn't have a radius, so it only kills the enemy you stuck, which is a pretty annoying glitch, honestly.
All right, so this is where Captain Keys is being held in the prison. There are 2 Invis elites, 3 grunts, and a sword guy.
So now we rescue Captain Keys, and now there's an escort mission coming up.
And we all love escort missions.
We should head back to the shuttle bay and call for evac.
There was a health pack in there that's probably good to get, and some grenades. So yeah, like we said, coming back through here, the game has spawned additional enemies. As we backtrack, we have to fight them. This being an escort mission, you actually really have to keep Captain Keys alive, otherwise you revert back to the prison where you saved him. Unfortunately, the Marines have this annoying property where they like to throw grenades and then stand on said grenades. So here, we're going to do something interesting. Remember that betrayal timer that we activated in the belly when we first got into the ship? We're going to use that to our advantage now. So now the Marines are mad at us. The reason we did that is because there's actually 40 seconds of dialogue coming up when we get back to this big room that we got to. We just don't want that 40 seconds of dialogue to happen. If the Marines are mad at us, they just won't talk to us, which I guess makes sense.
What a nice lineup.
For those of you who remember how this level's supposed to end, you're actually supposed to go to the hangar, pick up one of the Covenant dropships, and exit the hangar. Because we did the big grenade jump, we skipped a bunch of triggers that otherwise would have caused enemies to spawn in the hangar at the end of that level. But because the game never spawned those enemies, it detected at the end that the enemies weren't alive, and since the enemies were never alive in the first place, it assumes that you killed them and just ends the level.
So now, the Silent Cartographer, this is the most legendary Halo level ever for speedrunning, honestly, I think. So many tricks I'm gonna do like within a few minutes.
Ton of tricks. You'll actually notice right off the bat, the game points you in the direction of a big fight that was on the beach, and we're just walking the other way because it's faster.
Hey Garish, do you like long walks on the beach?
You like long walks on the beach?
Yes, I do.
Garish, how do you feel about stories?
Definitely go for it.
So every time I see this long walk on the beach, I think of a time when I was in a Halo speedrunning channel, watching a new guy run the game for the first time. I was trying to give him some tricks, you know, tell him what to do and everything, and it was all fun. He didn't have a webcam or a mic. He was like had to alt tab out of the game and talk to me every time. I felt kind of bad, but I was telling him, dude, you're learning the game on Legendary. Maybe you should try learning the game on Easy. You know, the tricks. You can just focus on the tricks. You don't have to like focus on the combat. He's like, no, I want to do Legendary. That's what I want to run. I don't feel like running Easy. I'm like, fine, dude, whatever. Do what you want. That guy's name was Garish, the guy running in front of us today. So, needless to say, I don't tell people to learn on Easy anymore.
Yep. So now, I'm gonna be using the fling mechanic again to get past the security door that you're not supposed to actually get through. Like at this point of the level. So, oh no.
Oh, good.
Hopefully I won't take too much damage. Okay.
So yeah, the game would have you come down here, they're going to lock the door, and then try to get you to go somewhere else to unlock it. We're just going to use the Warthog to fling through. This guy always has 2 plasmas, which is going to be really important for a trick coming up. You start with a level with 4 frag grenades, and getting the 2 plasmas there adds up to 6. We're going to use the overshield on the ground again, just like we did in the last level, to give us a little bit of invulnerability. And this is extremely hard, gets us all the way back up to the top, nearly where we started.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Oh.
He can do it, I believe.
Let's go.
Good. I think that's good.
Yeah.
So, as we pointed out earlier in the run, that we're talking about safe strats versus risky strats. It's actually sometimes quicker to try that trick there we call stick stack a few times rather than just taking a
completely different
safer
route.
route. Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely the hardest trick in the game. I'm kind of sad I didn't get it. Like first try would have been super hype, but on world record attempts, I want to get it within the first few attempts. But that's still fine for a marathon run.
Still looks cool. Alright, so here we're gonna get a trigger that actually ends up killing these enemies for some reason. And as soon as we get that trigger, the end level is tied to us getting a pelican. That pelican is just on a timer coming down. One side note, not really relevant to this run, but if you remember when we went down and hit the map button and then came back up, there was a big, like, empty shaft to the bottom of the level. There's actually a side category that some people run called Bottom of SC, or BOSC. And it's just basically seeing how fast you can get to the bottom of there. You can actually survive and get down there somehow, but it's pretty hard.
Cortana to Echo 419. The Chief and I are topside.
And now, AOTCR. This level has had probably the biggest route change. I guess that's what you can call it within the last year. So there's a really cool trick I'm gonna do. Before we used to do the bridge fall trick, that was around for years and years, and that's still the trick for easy runs. But for legendary, we have something a little more unique.
Yeah, this is actually a legendary and heroic only strat. You can't do this on easy, so I won't spoil it. It's pretty cool.
But
pretty
first,
cool.
I have to get through this area, hopefully get a few plasma grenades and not take too much damage. It's pretty easy to die here sometimes. Oh, no. Yeah, that is not good.
Nice headshot.
If that's not good, I might have a donation to help you. We have $5 from Arazat saying, "Hello, Garish. I like you."
Oh, hello. Arizat, literally every single time I stream, he comes in my chat and says the exact same thing. And I like you too.
All right, so we're coming up on the area where we're going to do the trick here. There's actually a Banshee flying around, just kind of patrolling.
The weather
And what we really don't want to do is walk across this bridge. There are a bunch of triggers that would cause enemies to spawn, and we hate that. So if we stand in a very precise spot, the Banshee AI is going to get really confused, run into the wall here, and kind of flip upside down. We're just going to check the driver from the vehicle, and hey, free Banshee.
It's crazy that that's consistent.
Yeah, the first version of that trick that was found about a year ago, it was super inconsistent. But thankfully, there was a way better setup found for that. That is super consistent trick if you know how to do it. It's still super hard. It looks way easier than it actually is.
So like I said, there are a bunch of triggers now that are being skipped. Well, we kind of call this a reverse domino effect. If you skip the first trigger, all the triggers in the rest of this level are tied to that trigger. So there just won't be enemy spawns for the rest of the level. That sounds great. Unfortunately, that also means there won't be checkpoints at all for the rest of the level, except for one right here that is scripted. The rest of the level, no checkpoints whatsoever. So we're just flying through an empty map, and if we die at any point, we're going back to there.
Yep, runs have been lost to people splattering themselves with the Banshee because it's super easy in this game to, like, if there's a vehicle moving at you at like 1 mile an hour, you are dead, basically. It's just weird how that works, but that's how it is.
Time for a couple
yeah,
donations?
we can read a
or-
couple donations.
Okay. You mentioned it earlier, we have $117 from Goat Rope saying, "Hey Garish, good luck. I believe in you. Shoutouts to HaloRuns.com."
Go Trope, the legend.
We have $50 from Bad Cat saying, great games done for an amazing purpose. Go, guys, go. Save the animals, you meanies.
Speaking of 117, the world record currently for this game is actually 1 hour and 17 minutes.
Yeah, actually, I want to say it's 1 hour 17:34 by Garish, and just saying that doesn't quite do it enough justice. That's actually almost 5 minutes faster than the next run, and the next run actually isn't even that bad. It just kind of gives you an idea of how crazy fast we can do this game right now. I remember when the world record got down to like 1:30, and I thought that was ridiculous.
I literally almost died there. That was super scary. So now, usually I would do a grenade jump up there, but since I'm at 1 red, that's really not a possibility, since you would die from it.
But yeah, this is more walking through empty hallways and going to get another Banshee, so I think we can read a few more donations.
We have $100 from the Eliminate88 saying, love speedruns in Halo, good luck. $50 from Anonymous saying, grew up with Halo, and it is the first franchise to get me to speedrun. Halo for life. I agree. $77 from Piro M saying, thanks, Garrus, for helping on the speedrun history article. Hype for your run, kill the saves, and frame the Marines. And $5 from Lord Sturm saying, loved playing Halo as a kid. This run brings back so many memories. Here's hoping your sniper rifle accuracy is way better than mine. Put the money to Reader's Choice because he's a classy guy. Thank you, Lord Sturm. $50 from Lazy Penguin saying, I love finding new games during GDQs. Thanks for the impressive runs for charity.
So now, we just have to open a few doors here and the level will be done.
Yeah, getting back to the story, so we got the map room on the last level. That told us where the control room of the entire Halo ring was. So that's what we're going to get right now, is to the control room. When we get there, Cortana is going to tell us that Captain Keyes needs to be rescued yet again, and that's going to send us on the next mission.
Actually, one thing I wanted to mention, yesterday unfortunately I couldn't see it myself, but another Finnish runner called Sabusukka actually got the easy full game world record for this game, so shoutouts to him. He's a cool guy.
Hype Sabusukka.
Yeah.
We're halfway done with the game level-wise, not halfway done time-wise. The 2 longest levels of the game are in the second half. And this level is pretty interesting. It's actually, spoiler alert, the first level where you find the Flood. So if you haven't played Halo before, sorry. Do a little quick grenade jump here just to skip some walking sections.
Can someone tell me what the timer is at currently?
37:24.
That's not too bad, actually.
Trust me, I think anybody that's played Halo remembers the first time they see the Flood.
It's spooky.
There is a cool little jump you can do here. It saves like a second, and it's super hard, and I didn't get it. You have to jump super late for it.
It saves 1 frame. It actually saves a lot more than that. This is another section where you're going to see the concept play through again of like going risky and fast or going safe and slow. We're going to go risky and fast.
I don't want these jackals to push out of this door because it can get me killed really easily. This area is so dependent on what those jackals do. Hopefully that won't happen again.
Oof. He was ready.
Oh, these guys just one stop right now. There we go.
Nice. You can do a little bit of AI manipulation and keep these guys there to keep the door open for you. Saves another 2 seconds or so.
Yep.
But we're making our way to the reveal room, and that's where we're going to see the Flood for the first time. If you remember, there was a private, what's his name?
Jenkins?
Jenkins, yeah. And you get to watch them find the flood.
And now we are introduced to these spooky popcorn guys.
Yeah, the popcorn flood are the little infection guys that run around and they try to infect you. Luckily, we have shields, so they'll just pop on our shields until our shields go away, and then they'll start eating us. But there are 3 doors that will open up with infection forms. It's always the same 3 doors. So we'll do a combination of grenading, shooting, hitting, letting them pop on our shields.
Yeah, the AR is a pretty useless weapon overall, but against the infection forms, it's super effective since they only take 1 bullet to die, and the AR has a super high, what's it called?
Rate of fire.
Yep.
We actually have some advice for this section. It's $5 from Anonymous saying, Garish, do the thing, shoot the gun. Oh no, not like this.
Once the game decides that we've killed enough of the infection forms, it's going to open the same door that we entered through.
There we go.
And we get that music,
I was
yeah.
super confused about that room.
They were hiding.
Yeah.
Here's another distraction grenade. It's a good example of it. Now we're just trying to escape, right?
Yep. And there is a nade jump I'm gonna do. It's not hard. Actually, I didn't get the checkpoint. Oh, there we go. Okay. It's a nice little boost against the pillar. Hopefully I can get it. It's pretty weird. There we go.
Nice.
And now, after this next elevator, the hardest trick in the game.
The hardest trick in the game. There's an area coming up after this elevator where the game kind of wants you to fall through a broken light bridge and have to find your way back up. We're going to skip that whole thing by doing some tricky platforming on kind of a slippery surface. We call the trick camo jump because there's an active camouflage here on the ground that we grab right before it. The trick is also called camo jumo, lovingly. Shoutouts to Double's Foe's inability to spell.
We actually have $5 from Bad Live Man saying, hey Garish, good luck. Can't wait for the camo Juno.
Yo, thanks, man.
So that active camo, like we talked about on TNR, it's about 45 seconds, and that's just enough time to run our way through all these areas and get the flood to completely ignore us.
And now there's this one last nade jump. This is also really, really tight. Hopefully I can get this. Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah. So doing that nade jump actually skips a trigger that you otherwise would have hit going across the light bridge, which would spawn some enemies around here that we just don't want to deal with.
This is Echo 419. Chief,
And now, the ending of the level. For whatever reason, the trigger to end the level is tied to 2 allied sentinels. Sentinels are the small flying robots. There are 2 sentinels at the end of the level, and for the level to end, both of those sentinels have to die. I have no idea why. It really makes no sense, but that's what you have to do to end the level.
Again, in standard Halo fashion, we're going to accelerate the death of our allies.
Yep.
I think
there
Bungie. Oh, go ahead.
Yep, there are like lots of flood in this area as well. So if I get really slow sentinels, there's a high chance I'm just gonna get flooded.
$25 from Emily Y. Chan saying amazing event and great work so far. Shout out to my cousin Terry at the center of the couch. You guys are doing great work.
Thanks. If you saw the blue floating orb guy, that's 343 Guilty Spark, the monitor of the installation. And he's our friend for now. There are the Sentinels. Cool, so yeah, now the level's just on a timer.
And now, next up.
Next up is the library.
Best level in the game.
Best level. We're just doing a little grenade jump here to skip a trigger that would otherwise, again, spawn a bunch of enemies. we are going to kind of backtrack a little bit to that area, not completely. We want to attract the attention of one particular Flood who is standing kind of behind this wall. That Flood has a unique property that we want to use. He's what we call a Reviver. A Reviver Flood in this game, there's a 30% or 40% chance for a given Flood to be a Reviver. Flood that are Revivers will pretend to die when they're a little bit below 30% health, and then they'll stand back up and come back to life. That's why they revive. The cool thing about that property is that when they play dead, when they go down the first time, the collision box completely disappears. And you can stand on top of them, do whatever, the game won't care. When they revive, when they come back to life, the collision box doesn't just come back up with the Flood, it actually suddenly reappears. And we can use that to our advantage to get through certain areas. This is one of these doors where you would otherwise have to wait for the monitor to let you through. But we'll just let ourselves through.
Thanks.
And now, you can grab this shotgun in a very interesting way.
A couple very well-placed grenades, and this shotgun comes right to us.
Yep. That was the first Flood bomb I did on the level. And there are 5 in total, but on Legendary it's, I guess we only go for 4 of them. Oh no.
Oof.
Also,
That's tough.
dying on this level is super random and you can just die so randomly sometimes. It's just unfortunate. This is definitely the most RNG heavy level in the game, probably in the entire franchise.
Yeah. But we'll go down here, get an overshield just for survivability in this hallway. And like we talked about before, when the overshield's charging up, you can do grenade jumps as much as you want. The game doesn't care. Also, kind of like we talked about earlier, human weapons do a lot of damage to health and not to shields. Luckily for us, the Flood being completely biological, they don't have shields.
$5 from Shiesty saying, can Garish please confirm if tomatoes are a vegetable or a fruit?
They are vegetables.
This is the first of 3 elevators. There are 4 floors on the library, and while the elevator is going up, we can read a couple more donations.
$5 from Ditto8353 saying, note to self, do not let Garish borrow my car.
Coming up is another door where you could bump through it. It's one of these doors where 343, you can see him floating up there in the top right, is going to make us wait while he goes and opens it. This door is just way too risky to try to bump through on Legendary, so we're going to get that dialogue box, and then we're just going to go over here and hide. So we can read a couple more donations.
Sounds awesome. We have $150 from Alexander S. saying, greetings from Germany and good luck to all the runners. Money goes to top reader's choice. Thank you. We have $50 from Anonymous saying, today is my birthday, so I guess I should thank you for the amazing present. Woke up a bit late, but I'm off work till Thursday night, so I'll be here for a while.
Happy birthday.
$50 from Benanak saying, in honor of all of my animal-loving friends, especially Sub-Zero, Bob, and Jimmy, this goes to saving the animals. $5 from Richard Berg saying, hey Garish, you're doing a great job, you're awesome. Greetings from Germany. $20 from Speedy Fox 4 saying, I had to donate during the Halo 1 run. I have fond memories of playing the multiplayer with friends and watching my brother struggle through the main story back in the day. Greetings from Australia.
So us waiting for that door kind of gives you a sense of how painful it would be to just wait for all of these doors on this level. That's actually how this used to be. Before we found flood bumps, which was only about 3 years ago, we used to wait for every single one of these doors. I actually have a fond memory of watching Goat Rope stream where one of these doors, he would always just go and get iced tea. Actually really important that we got through that area with good health. This door is going to open up partially, and then there would be a bunch of flood that come and ambush us. We don't want that to happen, so we're just going to make our way through it.
Please wait here. No thanks.
I'd rather not, thank you.
$100 from Oliver Owen saying, here's to another successful fundraiser and a great Halo run.
And now we're approaching the first rocket flood of the game. It's super easy to die here sometimes, and the last checkpoint is after I got through the door. So it's one of the longest reverts in the game, I think. So hopefully I won't die here.
Nice. That'll actually happen again. There will be a hallway where there's a rocket flood staring at you, but the hallway is a little tighter. So we'll come back to that. Yet another elevator coming up, so while the elevator's going up, we can read some more donations.
$150 from Mackie saying, I missed the last GDQ, figure I can make it up this time around. Love what you guys do and how the community comes together for this. You're all amazing. Go ahead and give yourselves a round of applause for being amazing. $5 from Skinny X Puppy and saying, and so starts a long week of not getting anything done at work. I actually scheduled surgery this week just so that I could stay home and watch all the runs. Good luck to all the runners and save the animals. Speedy recovery to you, Skinny Puppy.
That's dedication. I don't know if I would go out and get surgery just so I could watch GDQ, but
You're clearly not as dedicated as he is.
Right.
coming up is another hallway where a chain reaction is very possible. So we're going to kind of try to attract these flood towards us. So if they have any grenades, they won't just drop them right in front of a bunch of carriers that are around to turn the corner. Yeah, there was a chain reaction right there. You saw it.
And now, coming up, the first actually RNG-based flood bump. The first one actually wasn't RNG-based. I don't know if we explained that. But yeah, the first one is always consistent. But this one is the first actually RNG-based one.
Yeah, so like we said, a generic flood has about a 40% chance to be a reviver. This guy seems to be one.
Nice.
First try.
Nice.
That was actually really lucky because I don't think he got a checkpoint.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did not get a checkpoint.
I did not get a checkpoint, so that's really nice.
So what you're saying is you did not get a checkpoint.
Bungie took it away.
And the next bump is the most important one to get, because if you don't get the next one, you have to wait for the door to open, and it takes like 90 seconds.
Yeah, it's
That's-
actually twice as long as all the other doors.
Yeah. So I really hope I'm gonna get this next one, otherwise we're gonna have to read a bunch of donations, I think.
The good news is that the reviver status of a given flood is actually determined at that flood spawn, or at birth, I guess. And so we've got a bunch of flood that are following us. They've actually already spawned, so if they're revivers or not, that's been determined. And we're about to get a checkpoint in this room so we can test and see which flood are going to be revivers.
Pray to RNG. Oh, I'm checkpoint glitched. Oh no, this might be bad.
Well, okay, never mind.
So I really hope this guy's a reviver now, because... Wait, is he?
Dude.
Fake reviver.
Oh.
Aw.
Okay,
hide.
so we're just going to go and hide for 90 seconds, and we can read some more donations and get some iced tea.
Shout out to Ice-T. We have $20 from Silent Wolf JH48. Hello, Mr. Garish Goblin TM World Recce Man. Good luck wishes from fellow plebe console runner. Hope for no Rigorino.
Yo, thanks, man.
$20 from Duh Misanthrope, saying first-time donator after listening to Mike talk about MSF, couldn't really not donate to such important work. Enjoying Garish's Halo run. My friend is currently attempting all the Halo games on Legendary and has a ways to go, so give a shout out to Josh. Good luck and to a great week of speedrunning. $50 from Mad, saying thanks for all you are doing SGDQ and for Doctors Without Borders. $50 from Davio Smash saying, I love what you guys are doing. Keep it up. $50 from Jay Kowalski also saying thank you and continue with the wonderful work that you are all doing.
One thing I actually wanted to mention, yeah, like I said, I'm actually checkpoint glitched. Like my last checkpoint is minutes and minutes ago, so if I die now, it's gonna be a long revert. I don't know why the checkpoint glitch happens in this game. It's just super unfortunate on a marathon run.
There's just something so satisfying about the Halo shotgun.
Final elevator of the level. We can read a couple more donations going up it.
$20 from Jino saying, I gotta donate during the Halo run. One question for Garish. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Too tough to answer.
$5 from Catalyst saying, excited for this GDQ. Kill the animals and Spanish Star Wars, let's go.
We have a cute little grenade jump coming up to get through a door. It saves some time, otherwise you'd have to go kind of under the level here through this tunnel. And in this room that we're about to get into is where the last flood bump of the game could take place. Or sorry, the last flood bump of the level, not of the game, sorry. Spoilers.
Actually, I don't think, have I gotten a checkpoint? Yeah, I don't,
No,
yeah.
you have not gotten
No,
a checkpoint.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to even try this because
The flood bumps can be dangerous. I mean, one, you're standing there and you have the potential to be shot. But two, you also have the potential to clip out of the world and fall to your death out of bounds. So we can read a couple more donations.
$100 from Anonymous. I've always loved watching GDQ speedruns, but I'm donating for the first time. Good luck to all the runners. God bless. $10 from Status418. Looking forward to the Halo run. Don't forget the elbow grease and the headlight fluid. $150 from Ash Weiler. Every year this is one of the weeks that makes my summer great. The way the community gets together in a way to actually help make meaningful change is heartwarming. Good luck to all the runners and greetings from Canada. You know, that sounded like a Canadian comment.
There's a big fight that the game wants us to do coming up. We're going to try to kill some flood here that are around the door. This door, just like one earlier, is going to open up part of the way. And the game wants us to stay and wait. Doing a grenade jump here is actually really critical because we get through while the level, or this part of the level is empty before the game spawns a ton of enemies. Now we're going to be at the end of the level. So really good job, Garish, not dying there when we didn't have a checkpoint. Yep. This cutscene is actually completely unskippable. It's 63 seconds, and we just have to watch the monitor descend us. One thing of note, this huge elevator contains the index, and it's actually coming down to the area where we started the level, if it looks familiar. I don't know why the monitor couldn't just bring that down at the beginning.
Saved us a lot of trouble.
But here's the index. If you recall, we went to the control room at the end of AOTCR, the snowy level, and we did a bunch of things. We're actually going to take the index back to the control room where we came from. And that's going to be the start of the next level, 2 Betrayals. Long story short, the monitor wants us to blow up the ring. We say no. He gets mad. He's now not our friend.
Master Chief is actually taking damage in this cutscene, if you notice the screen flashing red.
Yep. And now, 2 Betrayals. After TNR, the 3rd level, I would say this is the hardest. I'm gonna promise deaths are very likely to happen. So this level kind of works the same way as the first level as well, where you just run through areas
We can't let the monitor
and
activate
hope you
Halo.
don't die.
We have to stop him. We have to destroy
And toss
Halo.
a few plasma grenades there and
My
there.
analysis of the available data, I believe the best course of action is somewhat risky.
We talked about it earlier. We want to kill that elite because it makes the grunts run around in frenzy. That actually makes it harder for the sentinels to kill them because they're running around. And if there aren't enough Covenant that die in that area, then we actually skip a spawn right behind us. There's a quick trick coming up here. We hit that button twice. So what's going to happen is there are a couple enemies here who spawned, but the game actually still thinks that the door is closed because we hit it at very precise times twice. So going down here, we're not going to face any enemies. We're going to grab a rocket launcher and a Banshee, and then we're actually going to have to fly back up. The reason we have to fly back up is because since the game thinks the door is still closed, it's not going to activate any of the triggers that we need. So remember back on AOTCR, the other snowy level, there were a bunch of triggers that we just straight up skipped. There were no enemies for the whole game, and that's very possible with this level too. You can just fly around, have no enemies, and everything would be great, except for the fact that the level end trigger doesn't work. That's the only problem. So we actually have to go back up here, hit the button again, so that the game thinks the door is open, even though it's going to start closing now. And then all the enemies in this area are going to spawn.
But we need to buy some time in case the Monitor or his Sentinels find a way to activate Halo's final weapon.
And yeah, there's a lot of unskippable triggers in this level. It would be so cool like to route this with, you know, skip triggers, but you're pretty much just gonna have to casual through it.
There's some things we can do to make it a little speedier.
Yeah.
The power levels are enormous. I can't even begin to calculate the pulse's range.
There are 3 of these generators that we have to blow up through the level. We blow it up with a little EMP thing. It takes away our shield, some game mechanic. The game actually, the game design is so brutal because for the number 2, generator number 2, it's actually going to be way harder than that. The game's going to take away your shields because you blew up the generator and then spawn a bunch of enemies around you, but we'll get there.
Move out and I'll mark the target with a nav point when we get closer. Wait, we should commandeer one of those Banshees. We'll need it to reach the pulse generator in time. Head through that door. That's the way to the next canyon.
This room, we're going to distract the enemies a little bit by walking over here and waving hi through the window. And then we're just going to do a nade jump out of the room.
Yeah, for some reason, the enemy shooting the glass, like breaking the glass, makes them distracted from me. So they just basically distract themselves, and I can just do the little nade jump there.
Couple precisely placed plasma grenades here. Spawn kill a couple of guys. In this next room, we're actually going to wait here for a couple of seconds. There's a fight going on between the Covenant and the Flood up ahead, and we just want to let that progress so they get distracted and we can walk up here and throw some grenades through the window. All of that looks kind of slow. It's actually the fastest way to do that because there are so many enemies packing this room that if you tried to run through, you would get demolished. You notice we did that and we're still on 1 red.
1 red going into this next bridge is super scary, so I'll have to take this kinda safe.
Well, Sleepless Blue donated $10 to let you know that they have all the luck from the Halo 3 community, Garish. Incredible run so far. Bump some flood and save some frames.
Dude, nice stick.
Nice.
Oh no.
This is actually tough because we're being shot from in front, from behind, and from the other bridge on the other side. We are going to have to cross that bridge again coming back the second way, and the second bridge is actually harder than the first one.
Yep.
Notice we're killing some of the enemies over there, just so it's a little easier when we come back the second time. The room we're entering right now is called Hell Room. You can guess why it's called that.
Yeah, actually, Goatropes Run 3 years ago used super safe strats for this, but because we must have adapted to new strats to go fast, so Oh, yeah. Well, that's the downside.
Yeah.
You can get killed pretty randomly.
Especially with one red.
Yeah.
You can kind of see us crouching under this window. Halo's actually a stealth game.
Yep.
So this is the other hallway I talked about, where there are a bunch of Floods standing here, and then the game decides they want a dude with a rocket launcher to come around.
Hi.
Yep.
So yeah, TB, like we talked about, insanely difficult level, very punishing, especially on one red.
Hopefully I can get the checkpoint here this time. I think I should get it. There we go.
Nice.
Okay.
Good.
There's a rocket guy. Good news is we do have a health pack coming up before the second bridge.
Oh no. Yeah. Hopefully I...
We do want to kill all those enemies because they could eat a checkpoint here. We do really want to get this checkpoint before the second bridge.
There
There
we
we
go.
go. All right, so there are 2 Banshees flying around. There are a bunch of Flood the entire length of the bridge. And like I talked about on the level Halo, the second level, Banshees want nothing more than to splatter you, and that's what they're going to try to do here. The good news is they show up on the map. The mini-map in the bottom left is a big red dot, so you can kind of see them coming.
Oh.
Bad news is, got a lot to worry about.
I remember when we used to take out the Banshees before you started crossing this bridge, and how there was like a rocket strat for that, but now it's just run through.
Run through.
It's
Yep.
pretty crazy.
And now we're across with full health. That's really good.
Yeah, that just shows the inconsistency and randomness of this level. Like, the first time I died super fast, and the next time I didn't lose a single bar of health. Now, there is actually a thing that you can save time with. It saves like literally 1 second, but hopefully I can get it. For some reason, when this elevator is going down and you run at this wall at a precise time, you can actually clip inside it. Let's see if I can get it. Oh, I didn't get it.
Close.
Yeah, it saves like 1-2 seconds maybe.
This area, the game kind of wants us to walk around this central room, but we're just going to do a cute little grenade jump to get over a wall. Nice.
I hope not.
Sometimes you can actually
Yeah.
rocket the ghost to get it closer to you. Unfortunately, that time I think it hit an enemy or something.
Yeah, the grunt got a little too close and it actually hit the grunt, so...
That's sacrificing yourself to the cause.
But yeah, we can just pick up a little health pack here, some extra rockets, and then we'll be on our way to the second generator.
Garish
can-
brother gave us $5 and says, "Whirl recce or go home."
Sadly, I don't think that's possible. The current world record, I don't remember how many deaths it has, but just a few, and this run already has multiple.
Nate223 gives $15 to say, "Shout out to Shattermage. Ever think that you would be here supporting a great cause when we were doing silly stuff looking for shortcuts back in college playing Halo? Good luck, Garish."
Thank you. And now this room has the second pulse generator we have to destroy. And this room has so many flood packed into close quarters.
Yeah, and once he hits the generator, he's going to have no shield, so...
He's going to have no shield, and the game's going to spawn a bunch of enemies in.
Yep.
There we go.
If we get the checkpoint before, that's really good.
That did it.
So now we'll just
The pulse
basically
generator
blow
overloaded.
everything we
One more
have
to
to
go.
try to exit out of here safely.
Oh. That is a chain reaction. Like I said earlier, if there's a grenade on the
That's it.
ground
The pulse generator
and there's
overloaded.
another
One more to go.
explosion near it, it can just chain react like that. And the dumb thing about chain reactions is also that if an enemy dies, like you can shoot an enemy with a rocket or something like that, and the enemy that dies from the rocket, if they drop a grenade, like even that can chain react. I think that's what happened there. So users can't avoid it sometimes.
Energy readings show her fusion reactors
Right here,
are
it's actually
still
faster
powered
to
up.
just let the Banshee
That
fall
tunnel leads to
rather
the
than
next
flying
section
down.
of canyon.
Now there's
On the
actually
pulse generator, we need to destroy
one of the,
through
yeah,
there.
I would say the latest big discovery of this entire run coming up here. We used to take the ghost that's in that cave I just passed through, and we used to get the ghost through this door that's coming up here, but you can actually get the Banshee through the door. I don't know how, but the collision is really weird and it actually works.
Yeah, the game developers kind of wanted you to get out and walk for the rest of the level. But, you know, they didn't count on this.
And there we go.
Nice.
Nice.
There's 2 triggers on this bridge that we have to hit, though, to spawn enemies.
And also to continue the rest of the level.
Yeah.
Also, I have 2 bars of health in my Banshee, and I don't think I got a checkpoint before the door, so if I die, that's gonna be really bad. Hopefully that won't happen. Okay, nice.
Nice.
Walking's for chumps anyway.
We did get a checkpoint there.
We like to use vehicles, it's much faster.
So coming out of here into this area, there's a trigger that's tied to us killing at least 5 enemies here. So we have to actually get out and spawn kill them. And now we can move on.
I wanna take a very specific path here for the Banshee not to follow me, especially since I'm on 2 bars of red.
Yeah, and the triggers we're talking about, again, they're all at ground level because the game expects you to be walking here. So we have to go in and explicitly hit those. And now we can fly to the final objective, which is that orange marker.
And now we should talk about the next level, Keys. It has the biggest skip in the game, definitely the biggest skip in the game.
Yeah. So when we're finishing the level here right now, when we come into the next one, what you'll notice
Final
is
target
the game is
neutralized.
actually
Let's get out of
spawning us into a section that is very close. It's literally right next to a place where we want to go. The room off to the right of us is where we're trying to get to. But the game wants you to take this huge convoluted path, actually exiting the ship and then finding your way back in to get there. We're speedrunners, so we don't put up with that. So what we're going to do is a little trick on this shield here. We're going to exploit the collision box of this shield in somewhat of a similar way as we did with flood bumps. And the way the shield is right now, the shield isn't there, collision box doesn't exist. When the shield comes back, when we stop shooting it, it'll come back, and the collision box will actually push us through the ceiling, way out of bounds. And then we can walk on rafters. We actually wanted to kill that guy at a specific time because he holds a checkpoint, or the game gives you a checkpoint when all the enemies are dead. Oh, so that's close. That's really close. This trick is incredibly precise, insanely precise. It's almost near pixel perfect. Oh, we got it. That's awesome. But we're not done yet. We're not done yet. We actually have to walk on this rafter backwards, and we can't see anything. Oh.
That's why we weren't done yet.
He garished it. I'm sorry. I had to.
You had
Yeah.
to. That's fine. So here are the rafters. We actually can't see anything because our last known location was in that room that you can see, and that's where the game is allowing stuff to spawn. Okay, but now we're in the room where we wanted to get to. That's awesome. One thing that may come as a surprise, the game didn't expect us to come from there, right? The game actually expected us to come from this hallway, so we had to go over there, get a trigger, and now it'll spawn all the enemies. The enemies, though, their AI is broken, so they're just kind of standing there. Unfortunately, we do have to kill all of them. If we don't kill them, they'll come to life in this cutscene that's coming up when we go talk to Captain Keyes, and they can kill us in the cutscene. So that's Captain Keyes. He looks a little different.
Put on a few pounds.
And now we punch him to the face.
No human life signs detected. The captain, he's one of them. We can't let the Flood get off this ring. You know what he'd expect. What he'd want us to do.
I actually used to think Chief was a girl because Cortana was talking during this. It was very confusing.
It's done.
All right, so
have the code.
we got the captain's cybernetic chip, I think, which is going to allow us to go back to the POA and do. There's a distraction grenade as well. We threw the grenade. Enemies saw it before they saw us, so they just stare at it like idiots. And now we're just kind of running our way to the end of the level. We're avoiding enemies pretty strategically. We can take 0 damage by crouching right as we fall. And are you going to do a shield bump here just for fun?
Make sure you crouch before you land.
Nope.
Oh, that's all right. We had to wait for these Banshees to come down. And they're actually kind of glitched. They go through walls, they fly crazy fast. You can get to fun places with it.
They're invincible.
Looks like
And now this cutscene is.
The cutscene's broken.
If you fly the Banshee to a very specific place, it somehow just completely
delirious.
deletes the map somehow. I don't know how it works.
We need to get to the
And
So
now
this
for
is the
final
mall.
level.
This is the final level of the mall. We're back.
To initiate an overload of the ship's fusion engines.
We're back at the Pillar of Autumn, and like Cortana was saying, we're going to go try to activate a self-destruct sequence. We're actually going to skip the area where the self-destruct sequence happens. It seems like we skipped a flood spawn there because we went too fast. That's fine.
And now my main objective right now is to get a shotgun as soon as possible. Oh,
Oh man.
and there was a carrier.
We
I
need
did
to
not
get
know
to the
this.
bridge. From there, we can use the captain's neural implants to initiate an
There are some
overload
pretty
of the
dangerous
ship's
parts of this
fusion
level.
engines.
That hallway,
Explosion should damage
just
enough
a ton of
systems below
flood
it to
packed into a
destroy the
tiny
ring.
area. And
Yeah,
flood
look-
can drop grenades just like anybody else. We can get a shotgun here. That's nice.
And just like the last level, this level also has an out-of-bounds trick, not as big as the last one, but nevertheless really cool.
Yeah, so like I said, we're supposed to be going and activating a self-destruct sequence. We're actually not going to go to the bridge to do that. We're going to do a trick called Cafe Bump. We're going to go over the cafeteria and walking on very specific points. We can use this door, which is getting hit open by the hunters, to get out of bounds. And then we can get on top of these ledges, which are really hard to walk on. We're shooting the shotgun here to shake the player camera, actually, and try to get the camera in the next room so we can see it. There we go. And this entire ceiling is not walkable. You can only walk on light fixtures, on the top of pillars.
Yeah, and some of these are paper thin, so that was
Nice.
really
That was
impressive.
nice.
And now the next hallway has a rocket flood, and I really want this rocket launcher. Sometimes the rocket launcher can like glitch outside the map or something, which is kind of weird. There we go.
And now we're going to pick up this overshield, not to do a grenade jump like every other time immediately, but we're going to do a cool trick later on with the extra shield that we have.
So yeah, if I lose all my shields here, it's really unfortunate since I can't pull off the trick, but we'll see what happens. Looks like so far I should be fine.
Yeah, this next trick's really cool.
So yeah.
So yeah, we want to make sure we have frag grenades selected because the game's going to take away our UI right when we're about to do this trick that involves a grenade jump. We're going to throw a grenade, and then as soon as we do the grenade jump, we're going to shoot a rocket at the ground, which is going to get us all the way to the top of the engine room.
Nice.
Alert. The monitor has disabled all command access. We can't restart the countdown. The only remaining option.
All right, so now we have to blow up the fusion reactors here. The game actually only really wants you to have one open at a time. So if you open a second one, it'll actually start to close the first one that you open, but you can kind of sneak a rocket in through as it's closing.
That leads to the primary fusion drive core. Good. Step 1 complete. We have a straight shot into
It's also really important to get out of this area quickly because the game will spawn flood at like an exponential rate. If you stay in here longer and longer, it just keeps spawning more and more flood.
There is an armory station.
And we also don't really want them to follow us into here because they can eat a checkpoint.
Fusion reactor number 1 destabilizing. Use explosives on the other 3 reactors.
Should trick here, walk out into the elevator so it comes right down on top of us, so we kind of clip through the floor of the elevator to get the drop on that elite.
And how to make these field rod grunts not shoot me? You can just jump over there. You can just keep jumping over their heads, and they just stare at you and do nothing. And now the only section left is the driving section with the Warthog. So there's not too much going on, but there are a few cool things I'm gonna do.
While we're going up this elevator, we have $8 from Airlian saying $2 for each time Garish got rigged on 2 betrayals.
So yeah, now we're driving the Warthog to the end of the level. One thing that I'll point out, even though it was pointed out the last time this was run, is that this entire canyon can't exist on the Pillar of Autumn. It just physically can't. There's no reason why you would design a spaceship with a huge drivable canyon in it. And I don't even think the Pillar of Autumn is this long.
It's about a fraction of the distance, really.
Yeah.
But it's a fun end to the game.
Yeah.
One thing you'll note, Garish is actually kind of slaloming through these pillars really nicely. That's really hard to do on the original game on Xbox, but because we have a mouse, we can actually turn the Warthog a lot faster.
PC Master Race wins once again.
Looks like Garish is not going to go through the middle of this room. There are 3 sentinels that are sitting there, and if you run them over, they can blow up, flip the hog, and the hog can fall on you and you'll die.
Shout out to Desk Soul, who lost the world record to Sentinels.
This is the third of the 4 of these kind of rooms. Each room's kind of different. Actually, the 3rd and 4th are the same as the 2nd and 1st in reverse.
I also heard that this is where the directors of Fast and Furious got their inspiration.
So one final room for us to show off our slaloming skills.
Yeah, I guess since there's not too much to talk about, we could give us shout-outs to HaloRuns.com, the ultimate Halo speedrunning site.
Boy.
So if you want to learn the Halo speedruns, if you enjoy Halo speedruns at all in general, so HaloRuns.com, the right way to go.
So this is the platform where Echo 419, our Pelican friend, is supposed to pick us up. She's not going to make it, so we're just going to keep going.
Cortana to Echo 419.
Echo 419. She's gone.
Just a reminder that
You don't say.
She's gone.
Inventory shows one longsword fighter is still docked
just
in
a
Launch
reminder
Bay
that we
7.
have
If we
Azure
move
Striker
now,
Gunvolt
we
coming
can
up. We're
make
only $200 away from the Shovel Knight fight, so keep donating towards that, guys.
So now
Alright.
we are at the very end of the run,
Pretty
almost.
close. We have a
Uh,
couple more tricks coming up.
Yeah,
Uh,
I really hope I'm gonna nail this next one. It doesn't have too big of a purpose, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, this trick is called the 360, and I think we're going to need a little bit of help from chat. So if we could have some Kevin Turtles, please.
Clear it.
Yo.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
360.
Looks good, looks
yeah,
good.
nice.
There we go.
Yeah.
It actually does have a slight purpose. If you just drive off that platform normally and straight ahead, there's a pretty big chance that you'll just straight up flip the Warthog, it'll crush you, and you'll die. Doing the 360 kind of keeps you the right way, and you'll land.
And now the final boss, the
Ooh,
barrels.
we need to get up more
You can
now.
just kind of wiggle yourself through these barrels. You're not supposed to actually get the Warthog through. And get ready on time, by the way. And time.
We're cutting it close.
124.51.
124. That's really good for a marathon, I think.
Here we go.
My goal was sub 125, so there we go.
Nice.
Dude, nice.
Just met it.
But yeah, like Gareth said, if you want to check out any other Halo speedruns or you liked what you saw here, you can go to haloruns.com. I want to give a shout outs to the people who created haloruns.com. That's what got all of us into it, just the huge community. Goat Ropes run back in 2014 was really huge. You can
So yeah, that's Halo.
Any other shout outs from you guys?
We pretty much covered it.
Shut them down. We'll need them later.
Shout outs to Double O Svo.
Sub whistle.
Fancy a look?
Funny line right here. Wait for it.
Wait.
Did anyone else make it?
Scanning. Just dust and echoes.
Who's Dustin Echoes?
Rip Dustin Echoes.
Shoutouts to Dustin Echoes.
For Earth. An entire Covenant armada obliterated, and the Flood. We had no choice. Halo. It's finished.
No. I think we're just getting started.
Yeah, that's Halo. Thank you, GDQ, for this opportunity to run the game. I really appreciate it. And I want to give a shout out to all of my Twitch viewers who have been supporting me over the past few years with the subs, with everything. It just means so a lot to me. And finally get to run this game at TC events is just, it's amazing. So, I think I'm done here. Thanks for watching.